Hello, everyone, and welcome to Football Pundits. In today's episode, which is the Transfer Central, the second episode of our Transfer Central, we're going to look at the biggest free transfers that were available this summer window, and we're going to look at the biggest updates. What's happening with Jadon Sancho? What's happening with Havertz? What's happening with all these big names that were supposed to be done by now? We're going to start with, as I said, looking at the big free transfers. And one of the big ones was Edinson Cavani. I'm going to go straight to Abby here. Abby, Cavani, obviously a big striker. A lot of teams would have loved to have him. Where would you see him go, and what do you think is happening with this deal right now?
The only problem with Cavani right now is that I feel he's actually a missed opportunity or a lost opportunity for a lot of clubs. Like I'd say Man United, maybe 1 or 2 summers ago, it would have been the right time for a United to nick someone of the stature of Edinson Cavani. But I think going by reports, it's very evident that he's off to Benfica.
Cavani, Leeds really wanted him, and it would have been a massive signing for newly promoted Leeds, obviously not gone that way.
In fact, good you mentioned Cavani. Arsenal, maybe I will go there later with Oba. Cavani could easily fit into this Arsenal side with, the other players they have rumored to get in. I think it's a big miss still if an Arsenal would not go for him.
Most exciting free agent, according to me, is David Silva. And I know that there are rumors that he's about to sign for Lazio and he's almost completing his signatures there. But he's the kind of player I would have expected a Juventus to snap up. They have that tendency to pick up players who are teamed past their prime, but not really. Dani Alves, Patrice Evra, Mandzukic, they have that knack to pick players like that. So I'm very excited about David Silva. I think that'll be one to look out for.
David Silva, great player. Kudos, 10 years in the Premier League. Really was the part of the main rebuild for Manchester City and all the Premier League titles they won. Juventus actually is a very good stop for him, right? Juve, they need to really overhaul that squad though, right? I know David Silva would be on the free, but to still get in one more player with wages, Douglas Costa should be on his way out. Ramsey is not fit in. I don't see him going there. In fact, I see him going to. If you'd be a little surprised, I wouldn't be surprised if a PSG go for it. He's not the kind of player who'd want to go to a PSG. I'm saying a PSG should sign him up. If not, a place where he would be comfortable to go to, and a club who should consider him, Barcelona. Very seriously, a good stopgap for the issues that they've been having off the field this year with the players they're getting in. If you've gone in for a Pjanic, for example, a David Silva is obviously proven quality as well. Maybe get something going with Messi, Suarez, his last legs, right? One season out before they go into that youth and start the whole rebuild.
Yeah, I think makes sense. David Silva would easily fit into a lot of these squads. I think the problem with the Juventus is that they already have a lot of aging players. But the experience of David Silva would prove so much in a team like PSG that seem to falter when it comes to the stages like Champions League, where his metal and experience and, all his titles will come in. And in that zone of experience, it's really surprising that Joe Hart is a free agent right now, 33 years of age, proven in the Premier League. I don't think he's had a big drop as such. He's still a consistent goalkeeper. No big links as far as I can see. Abby, what do you think of Joe Hart, man?
Not much. I used to think he was pretty good once upon a time, and then I think if you just read the reports about his character and about his attitude and about how he was very, very cocky at Man City, cocky beyond what the team should have been at the time, and in general, not the most influential or not the most positive character to have in the dressing room. So Joe Hart's I'm not baffled, because he's also been kind of out of the limelight for these last 5 years, safe to say, given where we thought Joe Hart would probably end up, England #1 and probably at a top club. So I'm not half-assed, maybe if a Bournemouth had stayed up, they'd probably bring him in to ship, 20 less goals next season. But
Kern, I'll tell you what happened.
Yeah.
Joe Hart was a good player for your West Hams and your Burnleys. Now what happened is, your Everton, Newcastle, everyone's become ambitious now. It's no longer top 6. You've almost come to a top 10. And Joe Hart's not a top 10 keeper also anymore. So who's going to keep him, right? Because your other teams have solid, reliable keepers. See, people will still take a Ben Foster, even though he's been relegated 3 times, because he's going to win you that many crucial points to maybe keep you up. Does Joe Hart even get you that? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think fair point. And I was going to say exactly what Abby said, that, Joe Hart would fit perfectly into a team like Bournemouth. But as it stands, he'll probably be a second choice keeper in the Premier League, or he'll go down to the Championship.
A bit like Aurelio Gomez, how he went to Watford, remember? He had a half-decent career there. It was good to see him. It was nostalgic to see the bald, pointy-nosed guy. No, I'm not talking about myself. The bald, pointy-nosed guy back. I think Johart will just disappear into the clouds. I don't think he's.
You never know. He could do a David James and come play in the ISL soon. I don't know. That could easily be something that happens.
Yeah. ISL doesn't have relegation, so good for him.
Yeah. Moving on from Joe Hart to someone who does have a lot of promise, who's still not past his prime, so to say. Ryan Fraser from Bournemouth is a free agent right now. And in the 18-19 season, obviously this season wasn't that great for Bournemouth, but 18-19 season he had 7 goals and 14 assists in the Premier League, which is a great return, which I thought even he knew. He thought bigger clubs would come calling, didn't sign the contract. But right now that his contract is done, there's no one knocking at the door for him. So,
Alexis Sanchez had phenomenal stats in that 2016-17 season, right? And then he came to United the next window, and he was shit ever since. So Ryan Fraser had great stats last season, and then he's
people still bought him, right? People still bought Sanchez when he had that stats. I'm saying right now, no one is going for Fraser. I'm not saying he'll go somewhere and he'll give you those returns.
There was word that he was going to Arsenal, in the middle. He had played his last game for Bournemouth.
No. So the thing is, look, Fraser is 26 years old, firstly, right? So nowhere near comparison to that. He didn't have a bad next season because of poor form. He was injured. It was an injury carried from the previous season, but to help Bournemouth stay in the run, then he picked it up and it became worse this year, right? Now, if you look at Ryan Fraser, yes, maybe he tried to overplay his hand with Bournemouth. Now they've gone down. But I still see him having enough quality where if you consider players like Joe Hart, if you're considering in the Premier League, a Fraser would still easily come into, let's say, a Crystal Palace if Zaha goes out, for example.
Everton,
right? Everton, maybe if they let go of like an Iwobi, but Everton right now are themselves trying to balance out the books firstly because of their moronic spending. But a Fraser fits into a Crystal Palace. Not a bad signing at all. Aston Villa, the players they signed last year not fitting in. He could easily go in there. He definitely is a Premier League player, not someone who's dropped to the standards of the Championship yet. Enough promise, good pace, good tenacity, and he attracts back. So hopefully something works out for him. Go on.
Yeah, there were links, in the middle with the likes of Tottenham very strong, but Tottenham now have got Højbjerg from Southampton, sort of briefing there. I'm not sure how much he fits into Jose Mourinho's system, but I think he's a player with a lot of promise. And yeah, he might not go straight into the top 10 as now we're saying instead of the top 6, but yeah, Crystal Palace somewhere around there. And someone who is world-class quality, who is a free agent currently, could easily just renew his contract, but deserves a mention, is the King Zlatan.
Sultan.
I mean, there's so many clubs would have him back just for his presence. Even when he came to United, it seems like ages ago now. Yeah. There were so many question marks, but he came and he proved himself, man. That guy goes beyond his age. But likely that he renews at AC Milan, Abby? I mean, that's a decent thought, but
absolutely. He would have put out a teaser otherwise by now, no? I'm coming. There was no, I'm leaving, I'm coming, I'm dying, nothing. So I think he'll stay at AC. But yeah, I read recently something about, what if United are linked to Zlatan and could this be the time to bring him back? No, it's not the time to bring him back. He had a great 2 years with us. Thankful for all the work he did. And, he was pretty much what we needed at the time. Otherwise, I don't know how or where we would have sunk to Arsenal's level at that time, But yeah, that's all I have to say. And what a player. And I hope... Cristiano goes on to play at 38, 40. I hope Messi go on to play at 38, 40 because it's our benefit, right? To watch such superstars.
Yeah.
So Zlatan, obviously, I think just makes sense to stay put at AC for both of them. Man's moved around too much. I think he should just be there. And AC Milan have sort of started a rebuild of sorts, seeing how they were 2-3 seasons ago. So, hey, Zlatan might just fit in. And it works with his thing as well, right? He loves saying, hey, I am here and I'm the one who has done this and I've helped this team back and everything. So just great news all around. So obviously all of these free transfers are ones that are more or less complete. But there were big names who were available. Other big names who were available closer to the Premier League and now seem to be complete. Willian, big name, available, especially seeing how much he helped Chelsea post-lockdown. He was vital. Everyone had to have him in their fantasy Premier League teams, and he was like scoring these goals, great set piece.
Yep.
But seems like Arsenal is now done.
Yeah, and that's a funny
Great
part,
move
right?
for Arsenal, yeah, I think.
Funny part, right? For a change,
What a signing.
Arsenal have managed to take a player from Chelsea, right? People will question the age. He's again one of those players who's proven that from the age of 31 to 33, where he's now, he's not lost pace, not yet. Maybe Chelsea were okay letting him go because of the wage demands and guaranteeing 2-3 year contract, which they didn't want to do. Arsenal have nothing to lose. Arsenal already are very far behind everybody else. For them, it's a risk worth taking, not paying transfer fee. They love that. Only money for the wages. I will actually tie this up with Ozil, right? Ozil leaves and he could still leave and move on somewhere and you free up those wages. Arsenal thinking big term, building on an experienced midfielder of sorts, right? And Pepe, Willian, and the next player we're going to be talking about, Aubameyang, Lacazette's going to stay, Martinelli will be fit. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. And I think well done to Arsenal for actually wrapping this up soon and not like some other clubs in Manchester who dilly-dally with everything.
I mean, I don't completely agree with this. Yes, obviously, right now it's great that Arsenal got a player like Willian. But in a larger picture, I think Arsenal often spend too much on older players and then they find themselves having to sort of rechurn their sides completely every 2-3 seasons. So now they already have the likes of David Luiz in there, Willian coming in on long-term contracts, which might hamper their interest. But the contract that they do need to renew, Abby, is obviously Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, which would have been the biggest free transfer available. Seem to have wrapped it up.
Yeah, it's done. I don't think there's much to really probe about there. If City would have been interested, it would have been in the media right now. A bid would have come in by now. City would have shown some interest, but there's just no talk about it, right? And I think Arsenal have pretty much signed their captain again. He'll stay.
If he doesn't, don't be surprised if he doesn't. A shock move to Barcelona makes sense for him. Suarez not fully fit. Griezmann's unsettled. Dembele is not working out. Messi needs all the help he can get. On the free, only wages. Aubameyang's the man to go. He's proven it in Europe before for Dortmund. He can't fit into a side with passes like that, right?
No, I was just in fact going to say that if the Arsenal thing doesn't happen for whatever reason, the only other link out there which seems to have any backing behind it is Barcelona. Aubameyang himself seems to want to join. He apparently is, sort of holding out to see if there's any offer coming from there. But as Abby said, Arsenal seems to be done. He will renew. And hey, again, a great attacking unit being built by Arsenal. It's the other side of it that needs to be sorted out. Coming on to, as Annie mentioned, the sides of Manchester that, aren't finalizing deals. And Jadon Sancho should have been done. They set a deadline of 10th August, which is the day as we shoot right now. It also is that Sancho is on the plane with the Borussia Dortmund team to go for their preseason training and all of those things. He's part of that camp. But let me just tell everyone, I don't think this is the end of the saga. If tomorrow United do wake up and tell Borussia, hey, here are the 100 million you asked for, they're not going to say, oops, the date is gone. They will take that money, right? But the larger question here is, Abby, how important is it for United to get this done soon? And why do you think it's just taking all this time? Like, what needs to be done here?
It's simple. It's a very big transfer. People are not getting it. A lot of United fans are romanticizing around the whole announced Sancho's number 7 on the 7th. Dortmund have put a deal on the 10th. Deadline of the 10th. Fabrizio Romano was speaking to Mark Goldbridge and they made it very simple. Romano, first of all, has said that the day he announces, right, Jadon Sancho to Manchester United complete. Here we go. He said that this is going to be the biggest tweet I'm ever going to tweet in terms of engagement, reactions, and all that, right? So he's also excited about it. And he said that, look, it's a bloody big transfer. You're talking in excess of 100 million for one player, right? So, and you're talking about a coronavirus world. Right now, apparently where the deal stands is that so first of all, the player is completely agreed terms with the club. The club wants him, the player wants to come, but the player is also being respectful of Borussia Dortmund, right? He's not going to throw a fuss. He's come out saying that, if the deal doesn't work out, no problem. I'm happy to stay at Borussia Dortmund. Now, what's happened between the two clubs is the structuring of the deal. Borussia Dortmund won 90 million upfront with the remaining 120 million paid over the next 12 months. Whereas United are saying, no, we'll pay you 70 million right now, another 30 million by, I think, in 12 months, and the balance 20 million will be add-ons and stuff like that. So that is where the two teams are at a bit of a jam right now. But the positive news for United fans is that both teams want to do the deal. Yeah. The player has agreed to come to Man United. Man United want the player. The difference is seemingly 20 million euros right now. And as much as Ed and United are trying to act tough and trying to sort of be hard negotiators, I think it's going to just come down to United agreeing to pay 90 million upfront and the balance 30 million next year.
That's what I want to bring this in, because we discussed this in the last episode itself, right? Quick fans have to understand what a big deal it takes time. Abhishek mentioned rightly, even right now, it's not to fall for the press baits, right? We're like, a deal has to happen. You cannot decide £100 million deal that quickly, image rights, everything. Although the personal deals, the personal agreement has also been made, it's not possible for a deal to get wrapped up when you have so many clauses involved. And Dortmund are a club who've always been hard negotiators with Mkhitaryan, with Kagawa. You want your player, come get him or leave. That's it. They don't care, right? And what I fear is going to happen is, when they do decide that, okay, United were like, okay, we're going to pay for Sancho now, Dortmund will be like, not 100. Give us all 120 right now. And then United just looks stupid. Whenever they do these deals, right? Why do you just not finish it out, right? Just stop it.
So I think there's obviously more to this than, basically that meets the eye, is what we're trying to say. Even, with media reports saying it's been split up in so many years and this and that, don't go by everything on face value. Amortization is very normal in player deals, which means that there's always, every single player deal almost will have that thing of the payments being split up, because no club really has that thing to be able to pay upfront. It's the deal that's booked in advance. It's a lot of technical stuff, that I've had the opportunity to look at this season. But on a similar line of, a deal that we thought was done would be closed early, but is now seeming to, have its own problems. Kai Havertz, and Chelsea and Bayern Leverkusen clearly not meeting the wage demands. So Annie, I'm going to ask you again over there, do you think there's more to it, or just the same thing where one club is trying to hold out on the money and the other club is trying to negotiate down?
I think it's the same thing, because even though Chelsea have not had missed out 2 transfer windows, they've made signings of Timo Werner and Ziyech, so they have put money out. Yes, they've let go of some wages where Willian's gone out, and Batshuayi on his way out. But 80 million, even in COVID times right now, is not easy for any club, no matter what your balance book says, no matter how much revenue could be in 600 million pounds itself, right? Not easy to balance that out right now. I think what's going to happen is eventually Chelsea, Leverkusen are going to wait for the Europa to get done and then come back to the table. I don't think that deal is off at all from what you can read. And it's a very fair point. They don't want Havertz' head to turn. Leverkusen could be the dark horses and win the Europa. It will be a very big thing for them. So I think it's good that maybe Chelsea might be respecting that, but I would not be surprised if that doesn't happen. In that case, if the Sancho deal goes to dead for United, please open your eyes. It's the same price. Just go for him. Rub it in Chelsea's face. Good player, drifts right, fits in.
Before we just end this, I'm going to quickly ask you on your views on this Havertz thing and what Annie just mentioned, the Sancho Havertz. If Sancho, is there a thing where United can think, you know what? Borussia are holding out too much. Let's just look at Havertz instead, because we often don't seem to have a plan B. Or do you think just all out Jadon Sancho get it done with?
I don't think so. I think there are 2 parts to this. I agree with half of what you're saying. There could come a time where United might just say, you know what, I don't want to do the Sancho deal this year because, Borussia Dortmund are being unreasonable and it's not something I want to do. And if that happens, it'll be really bad, because it'll also prove that United are run as a business, right? It's not run as a football club, because as a football club, it doesn't matter where that 20 million goes. We need that Jadon Sancho right now. But on the second half of your question, I don't think United will be able to hijack a Kai Havertz bid last minute like this, because I personally think that, it's almost done there with Chelsea. It's on the verge of happening. Talks have advanced to a really, really last sort of stage. And for United to hijack that, it would mean substantial more money, which United don't want to pay. So I just don't think that that's going to really happen. I think United will get Sancho, and I think Chelsea will get Kai Havertz.
Well, there you have it, guys. We are looking forward to the Jadon Sancho signing. I'm sure there's lots of Chelsea fans out there looking for the Kai Havertz signing. There's so many other great transfer news out there. So stay tuned. Keep watching our special episodes on the transfer centrals. We'll keep coming to you with more. You can also reach out to us on our Twitter handles, our Instagram page. But do keep tuning in for a lot more football discussions right here on Football Fundits.